Hello, guys, and Stranger Things fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Deep Dive Through the Upside Down. I am one of three hosts, Annie.
I am another one of the hosts, Mr. Fuentes.
What's up, guys? Drew Dread here.
And today is hard day.
Yeah.
Very hard day. We're going over the monstrosity of the last two episodes for Volume 2 or Season 4 of Stranger Things. And it's a hard one. Like,
There's a
very,
lot.
very hard one. It's a lot. First off, I want to blame Netflix for lying to me at midnight, telling me it was going to drop at midnight and
I
didn't
saw that
drop at
too.
midnight.
Yeah.
And it dropped at 2 a.m. But I
hmm
guess they were going off of their time, I
hmm
guess. But
Yeah.
2 a.m.? Bro, I got work.
I was 2 a.m. I was trying to watch it and it just crashed. It just kept saying the network wasn't working. I'm like, what? My Xbox is on. I'm pretty sure it's working. And then I had to get up early, so I was like, fuck it. Whatever. I'm just gonna stay up and watch it. All sad and yeah.
It's just the whirlwind of emotions. Like, I had to
Yeah.
wait all day that
Oh,
Friday.
I felt so bad for you.
I was like, I literally made that post at 2 a.m. I said, I swear to God, if anybody spoils this, I'm going to unfriend you at this point. And like, my husband was like, oh, she won't unfriend me. I was like, you don't think I will?
Bitch,
Like,
I'll be gone in the morning.
The ultimate unfriend, divorce.
no. No, I won't divorce him over that. I've heard stories of people getting divorced over stupid shit, but nah, not over
Yeah,
Stranger
that's
Things. Maybe, but I had to go to work. I literally had to go from all day yesterday, from 10 a.m. all the way to 7 p.m. Still had to go to the gym, and then I didn't get home until 9. I stayed off of social media that whole time. And I did see a snippet, but that was my part, and I just
hmm
swiped out of it, and I was like,
yeah.
"Fuck, what did I see?" But it wasn't anything major to ruin it for me. I kind of figured what it was, but it's okay. I guess we can get into our raw emotions of this. I thought more people were going to die, but
hmm
they they tricked me a lot.
Yeah.
They
I
really
feel like they
did.
tricked us all because they really built it up like there was going to be multiple people that were just going to be dead. And I'm not saying that was a letdown. It's just they really built it up a lot. So that's just my
Yeah,
opinion on it.
there was a post that I seen, and obviously not all posts are facts, but there was a post that I seen that said, uh, the Duffer Brothers said that there's going to be 5 confirmed deaths, major deaths
Yeah.
in the end. So be prepared for that. And then there basically wasn't.
Fucking teasers.
God damn it. They had me.
Uh, I guess we should say at this point there's going to be spoilers if you
Yeah. Oh
haven't
yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
If you
That's probably
haven't
going to be the
seen it,
title of the episode: is spoilers of the ending
Yeah.
of Stranger Things season 4. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely. I wouldn't say it was like you said, Drew. I would definitely not say it was a letdown.
Mhm.
That there wasn't that many deaths, but I don't know.
There was one satisfying death.
oh yeah, I have to say there was one satisfying death that he got literally it
I had
handed
to
to
play it
him.
back. I was like, wait, was that oh shit? Okay. I just, all right, I feel better.
I was like, man, if it wasn't Angela, it had to been him.
Yeah.
We're gonna name him. With the whole Jason thing, hunting down the Hellfire crew because they think there's some satanic
They're
cult,
cults or something. Yeah.
and his death. We'll mention it a little bit later on how he died, but his death was honestly the most satisfying. Like someone that I hate. It's like he was up there, and the Vecna was right underneath him.
Yeah.
Well, it
Like
was weird to me. It was actually not satisfying because of how quick
what?
it was.
Oh, you know
It was
what?
like if you weren't
That
even
is
paying
fair.
attention, you wouldn't even really could tell it happened. Like they didn't even
Yeah.
focus
I had
on
to
it
play it back.
whatsoever. It just was
hmm
like, wait, did that just? I was like, oh shit, oh he's not there anymore. Yeah, he totally
hmm
died. Wow, it was really
Yeah, you're right.
it was, I don't want to say let down, but it was just like, of course he died. That's what
Yeah.
mattered the most. But it was
I'm
like
gonna look him in the eye.
on his death. It was just kind of weird to me. I don't know. Me personally, that's how I felt. That
Yeah.
obviously it was like you couldn't let Lucas kill him because death harbors some kind of feeling on the soul, and he's still a young kid, so I guess I didn't want to like make him do it. But
Yeah.
it was just really like I said, it just happened really quickly, and I was like, oh shit, okay, that happened. Okay.
Yeah.
It was crazy though. Like the scene leading up to that, and then like the whole like he just vanished, and like everyone's like, well, where is he? Or like what with all the whole thing, like what 22 confirmed deaths, or like deaths, and toll was still going up from how many things happened in Hawkins. Like I wonder if his death was even confirmed or not, or if he was one of the ones. So it's kind of like the only people that saw it, well, technically saw it, was just Lucas.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, did Lucas tell him? Nah, he wasn't gonna tell him. Be like, off with this
Yeah,
guy.
he's just missing at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, I wonder if like they like go into the house that got split in half, and there's just one part of his body here, one part of his body there. Like,
Be like,
Yeah,
that's
true.
where he is.
it's like, oh yeah, there's dead people in here.
You're like, oh shit, never mind. It's a murder house anyways. They'll be alright.
Right.
Like, but let's jump into the first beginning episode to volume 2, which is our episode 8, Papa. It was intense. It was a good intense build up going into the final episode, and I was pretty scared. I honestly thought that the boys weren't gonna make it. I didn't think that 11 was going to make it out of there, especially with the military going in
I
there the
really
way they
didn't think she
did.
was gonna make it at all. Yeah, I was like, okay, she's like dead. Like she's done. There's
Yeah,
no way. Like I was literally like thinking like, okay, this is the one they're talking about. I was
yeah.
already thinking like the worst of the worst.
I was like, shit. So this is what Vecna means whenever they said that they've lost. I'm like, fuck.
yeah,
Already in the first episode, back, like, man.
For me, it was really, I wouldn't say it was hard, but it was definitely like a very much a prep episode for the last episode. Like that episode, like it was just all prep the entire thing, and
Your
it was,
appetizer to the main entree.
yeah, it was like getting everything laid out. It was almost like, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain it, but it was definitely, I don't want to say it was a filler, but it was kind of like a filler for the last episode.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's fill you in on what's about to happen and the idea we have, and let's see if that idea is going to play out in the last episode.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes I watch things like this, and it's so hard not to be like, they're gonna like I was saying earlier, it all seemed like it was impossible. Like, oh, she's gonna get injured, she's gonna get hurt, she may even get killed. Like, how is she gonna get out of this mess? But I'm just like, they're gonna figure out a way. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know she's gonna get out of there. So obviously, the pizza people are on their way. So it's something's gonna happen where she just magically pops up, at some point in time, and they're gonna save her. So it was just like very. I could already see everything like coming in play. I was just like, oh wow, okay, well this is gonna somehow happen like this, and
Yeah.
this is gonna happen like this, and yeah, it pretty much all happened exactly how I thought. Although I did think that they were gonna try to shoot her, and she was gonna stop the bullet or something.
Oh, like the
Like
Matrix
the full
shit?
Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something crazy like that. But what happened instead was pretty dope in general. So I mean, I was pretty happy with the whole scene.
I feel like they thought of that scene, but they were afraid of him get sued by Keanu Reeves.
Right.
Keanu's just sitting there like, this looks like something I've done. I gotta go take care of some business. And they're like, no, Keanu, no.
They should have just made like one of the soldiers like Keanu Reeves, who was like laying like dead or on the side, and then he like looks
Easter egg.
over and he just kind of gives her that nod, like yeah.
Put it just like.
But the beginning of this episode was them trying to figure out like how to get Nancy and to get out Nancy out of that trance and everything.
Mhm.
And my thing was, I was like, damn, they're gonna kill her off in the first 5 minutes of this episode. But then, even then, like they had all these like photos of her out of it with like the group,
Mhm.
and then like I was kind of like, no, that probably she nearly escaped, and like the one thing that had me laughing is when they're all looking through Eddie's tapes,
Oh my
and
god, yeah. Yeah.
and Robin's like, "Where's Madonna? Where's all of the good stuff that you
What
have?
is
Where
this shit?
is?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Where is the real music?" He's like, "This is
This
the
is
music." I'm sitting
that's
there
so
like,
funny.
"Damn, okay, my music ain't even bad." Like, man, like
Yeah.
It's the
I
80s.
should have just pulled out his guitar and just
real quick, real quick. We would have already gotten that
Nothing.
scene out of the way. But it was a good start. She was terrified because Vecna just wanted to use her as like from communication to tell the others.
Mhm.
And it scared her because she saw everything that could have happened or possibly
Yeah.
is going to happen in their future or fate trying to save Hawkins. And it put a toll on her because she didn't know whether they should do this or not. And then how are they going to get a hold of everybody else? Like, they've been trying Will, Jonathan, Mike, 11 for 3 days, and they still couldn't get a hold of him, even though they don't know that they are on their way to Nevada to try to save 11 from this whole Project Nina. And I guess the emotions are just like super high for this.
Mhm.
And seeing all of them worried and scared, like they may not be able to make this out of live. Well, Steven has high hopes. Steve, he's like, we shouldn't do this. We should, maybe. I don't know. Like seeing him kind of like hesitate a little bit on what to do. I'm like, you're
I
the
got worried.
babysitter. I was like, you're
I
the
got worried on that
babysitter.
one.
You're like, I'm gonna go in here with bats a blazing, like whacking stuff. But like when he kind of hesitated, I was like, this isn't good. This
Mhm.
really isn't
Well, I
good.
mean, yeah, who I don't remember who said it, but you know, we're just normal people. We're about to go with the guy who literally could like kill us with his mind.
I think that was
Mhm.
Robin. Robin
like
that
how,
had mentioned
how are
it.
we gonna do anything? Like, well, what is y'all's plan? Which is
Get
actually kind
family.
of that
Fast and Furious reference.
they were able to come up with a decent plan, I guess, in the end. Because if we were to take, L out of the whole equation, Max would definitely probably died. But Jim and them would have still hurt the demi-dogs and everything, which would have hurt the hive mind, which would have gave them the opportunity to still kill them and do everything that they were going to do with Vecna in general. So, I mean, their plan for the most part seemed like it would have worked.
It would have been 100% solid. Like it was going to be
Yeah.
100% solid. And then the idea of Eddie telling him, "Hey, there's this war shop or war zone place where we can find ammunition for cheap." Like, it's just with all the hicks and all that stuff on the other side of town. And they were kind of like iffy because I mean you do have where it's back in the 80s where it's still kind of like women shouldn't have this, or like kind of of color not allowed. It just depends on like certain areas of town, especially where they're going to be at. And bring in like Lucas, Robin, Nancy, Erica, all of them, it's like kind of like and then when they go over there, which absolutely hilarious, the scene going up to that or building up to that is when Eddie's asking Max, like, "Hey, you got a bandana or like something to cover me?" And she's like, "Cue the Michael Myers mask." It just has me laughing, just him just rolling
Oh,
around.
that was so funny.
The
I did not expect that.
the memes after this is like when the killer says he's really
Gold.
nice and they're all following behind him. It's just
There's only four marks I have here for favorite scenes, and that's one of them. It's a good recall. It's a good pop culture reference. It's just such
Yeah.
it's just funny. It's hilarious. And then like you know, I guess we could probably even get into this, but like Eddie's whole person in this entire season was just like great. Like the way
Mhm.
the actor played Eddie. So like, somebody told me once where there, obviously there's an argument, who's the best Spider-Man or whatever. And one of the ones was talking about like Andrew Garfield, uh, the way he acts whenever he was in it. He didn't have no facial expressions like the Tom Holland one, like his eyes get big, it gets small, and stuff like that. This was just straight face, but its body did a lot of the reaction. They just like somebody was just pointing out how that's a good testament to his acting skills, that he doesn't need facial expressions for you to know how he feels in a scene. And just that little scene was just comedic genius, like the way he like he played the part perfect. So it was really funny to see that. And just his whole character was just great the entire time. You know, I don't know if we want to get that soon into the probably the most major of the major of the what happened, but we could talk about that in a little bit. Um, but I think one of my favorite scenes in the episode in general was the ending, or not the ending, but closer to the ending, where everyone's prepping for battle and stuff like that, and
Oh yeah, the
and they're
music
all
in the
kind
back.
of like
Oh,
well, no, that's the end. The one before that, where everyone's getting the stuff ready with like the garbage lid with the
Oh
mess.
oh, okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
they're
Like
all
to
having
me,
their fun moment all
yeah,
Yeah,
together.
to me, it really builds. It really starts, like I said, prepping you for the ending, because you kind of see everyone like being closer, and even Erica and Lucas. It kind of shows like
Yeah,
their
brother
bond
sister.
as a siblings, and they haven't really showed that much throughout the series,
mhm,
but it's just like most siblings, like I care about you. I just can't tell you out loud in person,
yeah.
and they have that kind of relationship. And then with Eddie and Dustin and Robin and
Oh,
Steve
that.
talking and stuff like that, and like it was just a lot of building of emotion, like getting you ready for someone to die of that group of people. And it just like, yeah, it was just a really great scene, just how they did it. I think it was really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. um, which to me, now I'm thinking about it, like nails in a garbage can lid, like that's like genius. Like what the
Like who never
that
thought of this?
that's something so easy to make in your backyard. Like I
Please
need
don't
one.
attempt to do this, guys. We are not we are not professionals. But that scene honestly was like a chef's kiss. Like it was like down to where, Dustin and Eddie were just having that playfulness
That's
of
a
like
special moment.
them being friends, and like him telling him, rustling him around and telling him like don't ever change. Like don't change. It kind of hit because he's just like, you know, Eddie's a different breed of person, and like just so sweet and so misunderstood. He's just telling Dustin like you could still be the way you are, just don't change no matter what people tell you to do. And it was kind of like that little like nod. I'm like, we know either one of, like you had said, either one of these guys in these little groups, may die. And same thing with Erica and Lucas, giving the thumbs up, Lucas, and she's like, turn that thumb upside down. Like, you're not even tight. This isn't even tight enough. And like, just little things. And then,
Yeah,
Steve and Robin, when
Steve
they're
Robin,
putting, the gasoline into the little, what is it? It looked like bottles, or
Molotov,
yeah, like alcoholic bottles, whatever they
alcohol bag.
are.
Yeah.
Like they're just putting rags, talking about, their love entrance, their love life. And Robin, poor Robin, dude. She couldn't catch a break. So at that little shop, she got her heart broken because she figured out
Oh
that
yeah.
that little miss, the one that she has a crush on, has a boyfriend. And it kind of hit home because she didn't know how to react, and her reaction was to run away when she saw it, and teared me up because I was like, damn, Robin couldn't catch a
Mhm.
break. Steve can't catch a break. This is why they're friends. Their love
Yeah.
life is just a hot
Yeah.
mess.
Right.
But man, the preparation into that, and then all of them getting into that RV. getting ready for battle.
That scene was intense too. Going back to that scene within the gun shop where she's looking at the shotgun, and then she overhears the fucking douchebag in the background, and there's just an intense shot of just them like going back and forth basically, and I was like, oh shit. Like they're all on the same roof. Like holy shit.
Oh, all the basketball players and
Yes, that
what's
was
his name, Jason and
insane.
all of them.
Jason,
I
yeah,
was scared that he was gonna like try to like sock her with
just
like
been
the gun in
stupid or
front.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, because you could tell that he's emotionally distraught
yeah,
from
like
whatever
bags
happened with
and shit.
Chrissy.
Yeah,
Bags under his eyes. He's been drinking. He's not had a lot of sleep. Like he's just really out of it. And like him picking on Nancy, asking her where her brother is, and like, bro, it ain't your business where he is. He's in California doing the damn thing. Well, he really isn't, but he's in California, and it didn't matter where he was at. It didn't matter if he was a part of the Hellfire Club, but it looked like Jason was ready to kill whoever and whatever was a part of that, and whoever got in his way. It seemed like it, and I was pretty scared because like shit, you got little Erica with her basket full of shit, and then she's over here like there's one over there with the knives, the other one's over here like she's like, shit, what do I do with my basket to get the fuck out of here? But what else happens in this episode?
Who was with? Okay, so I was gonna point this out. It was probably Jason's him grabbing the barrel of the shotgun that gave Nancy the idea to cut off and make it a sawed-off shotgun
for close range and all that. Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty not funny, but he was like, grab my barrel, asshole. I'm not gonna do that again.
And then Max had said, she's like, it's illegal to do that, right? And she's like,
it was Max.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who was standing next to her, because I know they're all in little pairs, and I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Max probably was
Nancy.
like, damn, you're like a boss bitch cutting down this barrel and shit. Like, you're right. But yeah, Max was with Nancy. They had just that little scene where she's cutting off the barrel, and that's when Max was like, isn't this illegal?
I think the other part that I really enjoy is after the helicopter crash, and I guess technically our first kind of major death with Brenner. Whenever they start talking to each other, that was Brenner was trying to explain his, I want to say his side of the story, but the way he felt about the situation, and that he wanted Elle to not be hurt by the way he treated them, that he did it out of love. And I think it was like a very powerful scene where like she didn't validate any of that, and he wanted that. His dying wish was for her to understand that he was doing what was best for her, and she didn't give him that. And I thought that was a really powerful scene where I was just like, damn, like they went there, like she embodied it.
There was that one part where I was like kind of like shocked me a bit, where Brenner started like crying because Eleven was mentioning like you're the monster and this and that, and it really hit him hard, Brenner. I was like, oh, this guy has emotions, so that was like shit, okay. And then just like that whole scene was intense. When they're in the desert, like amazing shots, like the way they put it together, it felt like a fucking movie. This last 2 episodes was a whole movie, basically. Yeah. So just that was amazing.
It's insane. The whole season was a freaking movie. Every episode was like an hour and a half. Like you literally watched like 9 episodes, nine movie trilogy, or not even trilogy, but even call that series.
It's
a 9 movie series, in one season to get to this one thing. Like it was just, I don't want to say it was so much, because it really, like, this is the same season where like Steve and Robin are laughing about the Muppet Girl singing in the beginning. Like so much had happened from that beginning scene to like at how it ended, that it was just like, wow, like that's the same season. Like it felt like it did. A lot happened. There was just so much time in the between. Like, I don't even know if you added all the hours together, but, it was probably like 20 hours worth of footage, all together or something like that. Something
20,
crazy.
24 to like 26 hours worth of footage. If you add like the minutes and seconds to it, it's
Uh-huh.
about 26 going on to like 28, I think.
Like
I
that's
could be wrong.
insane. That's
That's
like Harry
literally,
Potter.
yeah.
Like
We're almost there with Lord of the Rings, man, at 38. We're
yeah, like
almost there.
it's just so epic. Like that season, it's so crazy to me. Just like I'm trying to think about that season as like a standalone season too, and like I think it would work kind of as a standalone, um, in a sense. I mean, I guess you kind of have to know the Billy backstory a bit and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
it was it was just like you could watch that season and kind of get an idea because they do a lot of flashback stuff any day and kind of
Yeah.
get an idea of that it's a solo season. You wouldn't even have to watch any of the other seasons to really know what's going on at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was a lot. And those last two episodes, like I said, were just like the creme de la creme, like of those entire season. Like
It felt like a whole season, like all in 2 episodes.
yeah, it really did. It really did. It felt like its
Yeah.
own separate season, just those last two episodes.
Yeah.
And I would have accepted that if they would have just been like, yeah, this is like Stranger Things season 5 right here, these last two episodes. I would have been like, yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Mhm.
they put so much money into it, you can tell.
Yeah, I read
Yeah.
an article where they put like I don't know if it's like the right number, but it was like 30 million per episode.
Dude, that's
And I'm all like,
insane.
Her
that's a
episode?
movie budget. The fuck? Yeah, it's a fucking movie budget.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is, but that's what I saw. 30 million per episode.
I'm
I
so
can look it
curious
up
on
real
how
quick.
they get money for all that stuff. I guess it might, because how much does Netflix really pay these
Donations.
people?
I'm all Netflix.
Like, and then how much does Netflix really make off this kind of stuff
GoFundMe.
too? Like,
They're walking in with the bags, like, here you go. They're like, haha, to the funds we go.
I'm assuming it's like merch stuff because I mean, just because of this show, I went out and bought a bunch of
Oh.
Steam.
Yeah, right here. According to Wall Street Journal, the budget for Stranger Things 4 was 30 million per episode.
That's insane.
Well, then it's all a lot of like the CGI work and a lot of like, the digital media side of it, like where you have to have a lot of things like those Demogorgons ain't real. There's people
Yeah.
behind that, doing that. The mind flay and like the whole dust particle shit, that ain't real. They have to find something to
Whenever
add it
your
in.
whenever
is-
your
I'm sorry.
Vecna
Vecna.
is in your mind and all the stuff was going crazy, yeah, there's just a lot. Which I mean, which also makes this whole series in general cool is that, I mean, you say they're not real, but a lot of them are in costumes and stuff, like real
Yeah.
makeup. They do a really good blend of.
The Vecna picture.
Him just talking about everything. Oh my god, him and Max together. But you're
Oh,
right.
yeah.
He's all-
They do a really good job of blending like real practical makeup effects with CGI to make it like not look so cheesy. Because if it was straight CGI, it would look super cheesy, and if it was probably straight makeup effects, it would either one be too much money or two not look as real as they want it to look.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean every time they showed a portal, obviously that's CGI,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, anyway, crazy episode.
Crazy budget, man. Crazy budget.
budget.
We did discuss one of the kills, which is if you're already made it this far into the episode, spoiler warning, it's Dr. Brenner was the first one. Not everyone. I mean, the way that the episode was, not everyone was expecting it, or like everyone was kind of expecting it, but like it didn't hit home yet until the following episode, because this gave her a little bit more of like her strength to me, because Brenner doubted her, was like, you're not ready for this, you still need time, and was trying to keep her away from everybody, practically, like didn't want her to lose this whole battle and beat herself for losing if she did. And once she was like turning the pages and was like, you're a monster, you've created this, you're the one that kept on looking for him, and you shouldn't have been looking for him. And then him releasing her out of that collar to go was like kind of like him finally letting go and like telling her like, you can do it. Even though if you win or lose, you're still going out there regardless. What I say, which
Mhm.
was kind of nice. It's like the whole father daughter thing, like just let go, live kind of type
Mhm.
thing.
I
And it
just
was
wish that kids had the maturity to understand, like, you know, that scene was powerful that she didn't validate him. But what to me, what I was thinking in that exact moment is like, which exactly what she should say is, no, I don't understand, but maybe one day when I'm older, I will.
I will.
You
yeah,
know, and then, he dies. Whatever. Um, because it's hard to explain, or it's hard to be a parent. You don't really know what the hell you're doing. You think you're doing the right things, and you end up messing up your kids worse than you thought you were going to. And then it's just like he was just trying his best, but you know
I can agree on that, man. Parenting is fucked up shit. That's for sure. Like it's some days you have good days and some days you really have really bad days, and it just kind of varies. Like, I I would say myself, I'm a sensitive person. I cry over like literally anything, but I don't like to show my emotions on my face. On my
Mhm.
children, it's a lot harder because they show their emotions. Like, they wear a badge of heart all the time. So it's like they cry over like the simplest someone telling them to go clean up the room, just bawling out tears. So I raised sensitive children, but like, it's kind of like the understanding of that moment, like seeing that, I'm like, damn, man, am I parenting wrong? Like,
Am
you
I
know,
the asshole?
am I the asshole really? I'm like, damn, so is this what my child wants me to know? Like, it kind of
Yeah.
like hits a little bit. So watching it as a parent, I'm like, do they perceive me as a monster? Damn, I shouldn't tell him to clean that room. Or damn, I should have told him to wash the dishes this week. Like, it's a little bit different, I guess.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, I digress a little bit. But
well, I don't think this spoils too much of the next episode, but you kind of get into the next part where you kind of get two similar scenes where you have Elle telling Brenner he's that he's the real monster, and then you have Vecna talking to Elle about how she's
Yeah, yeah,
kind of pushing it back on her. Like I thought she was a monster at some point, because that's kind of what the whole beginning part of it was. She was different. Um, she thought she was different than everyone else, but really she thought she was a monster. And
yeah,
then she kind of came out of that mind frame and was like, no, it's because of the way this guy raised me. He's the monster. And then Vecna goes back and is like, nah, you're really the monster. Like, you really are. And
yeah.
it's like the question, that they have. I think it when you actually read the book of Frankenstein, that's the question. Because Frankenstein's the doctor, Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster actually doesn't have a name. It's just Frankenstein's monster. But who's really the monster? The guy who created the monster, or the monster itself? And
Guy who
that's
created.
so it was kind of funny. Not funny, but you can kind of see the comparisons they were trying to make, like
he,
in the show.
he pulled
Uh,
out the Uno reverse card on
Yeah.
11, like he had her all squared up and was like, ah, you can't do this to me.
Going back to Brenner's, I guess, death. I didn't expect him to go out like that. I don't know why I thought 11 was gonna do it, you know, but the way they got out of that the underground, and he just got fucked up by the sniper. I did not expect that. I really didn't. I expected, that scene where 11's just straight up just gonna destroy him, and then but she got ejected by him, and they both collapsed. That was a good scene too. The way they collapsed,
Yeah,
and they're
they
just like
both
there.
collapsed at the same
That was a
time.
solid scene. Yeah. So much.
I just want to know, did Owens make it out of there okay? Because did the
Oh
military just fucking
yeah.
leave him there? Because they had Dr. Owens locked up in like a little, a handcuff against the
Hmm.
damn pipe while everyone was leaving, and then the military sergeant officer, whatever he is, comes in and was like, "Oh, the helicopter saying they have eyes on the girl. Do we take the shot?" And Owens is like, "This is gonna be a big mistake. If you kill her, and we don't need her. Like, that was good riddance for you. But if you kill her and we do need her, you fucked up, buddy. Like, and he's like, nah, I don't give a shit. I'm a killer because she's a killer child. She's doing all of this stuff in Hawkins, but she's not in Hawkins. She's not even there. So, but even then,
I
I was
feel like
kind
they
of
did
like,
leave him there.
yeah, I was like, come
Yeah.
on, man. Like, Owens needs to eat. He needs some water. Like, you can't just leave that guy there. So,
Well, I
hopefully,
mean, I think there's a reason that they didn't pop back up again, and it's because the helicopter destroyed all their vehicles. So they were stuck there for probably a good while. So I'm sure they took him by the end of the entire thing because they were just chilling at the base waiting
They
for
go
him.
back down. We're back.
Yeah.
Shit
Well,
happens.
all our vehicles are blown up, so we need y'all's. But then again, like even thinking about that, like how did they get out there? There has to be vehicles parked somewhere. Is there an underground garage somewhere? I don't know. I wonder how they got out of there. I mean,
yeah,
not that I
We'll see in
wonder.
2
I'm pretty
years.
sure they called for backup. But I wonder if there was ready vehicles there and they like, oh, we're just gonna take these vehicles and head out.
yeah.
But they obviously would have known they went to Hawkins and they didn't seem to be in Hawkins. I don't
Well,
know.
some military was there, but not like,
Well, yeah, like FEMA type of military though,
yeah,
because of natural disaster. But yeah, I don't know. Now, obviously, they're gonna play a bigger part in the next season.
yeah, definitely. Um, can we finally talk about this damn painting that Will
Oh, yeah.
finally decided to show Mike in the drive over there to the whole Nina place? The I think what it's a 3-headed or 2-headed dragon, and it's him, Mike, Will, I think all the gang.
The crew. Yep.
The crew is all there, and he said, and I quote, that 11 asked him to commission this. And Jonathan's overhearing, and like, Jonathan's like, boy, she didn't ask you. You're doing this for yourself. And
Mhm.
like that little scene, like him expressing his feelings, but it's not really him expressing it, and he's just saying it like as if it's 11 expressing his feelings, really hurt because he's trying to figure out where his friendship is or where his friendship lies with Mike. And he sees it a different way than what Mike sees it. And Mike just sees it as like, I see 11 as like the person that basically made me figure out who I was. Like, fuck Will and all his friendship as a kid because this girl changed his life forever, Mike's life. But like, it kind of hit home watching Will trying to explain it, and then after he says, I can't remember what he says, but like he turns away and you just see
Oh,
him
he
like
was just sobbing.
just
Yeah.
it hurt, and it's like, man, I just was like, Mike, just give him a fucking hug, like just give him the bro hug that you give him,
Give them
and
something, man.
give him
Yeah.
something, dude, because like it hurt watching that. Like I could feel a tear like running down because like that emotion he was holding in for so long.
That kid needs to win an Emmy or something.
Yeah,
That kid
man.
was goddamn. I
Yeah,
felt
no,
like cry. I'm like shit. Oh my
he,
god.
he definitely made me feel like Will has more of an important role in the series finally.
Hmm. Finally, whole haircut was pushed around his ears, like he was prepped. He knew what he was doing this
Next season,
episode.
came back to Mohawk. You watch.
I do like I do find it interesting too because like a lot of people speculate that he's gay and that he's trying to come out, and I I remember being like around that age too, and not that I thought that me and my friends were gonna be friends forever, and we're gonna like I wanted to buy
Yeah.
I wanted to buy a plot of land where we had all our houses together, and I can go to my friend's house right down there and stuff like that. To see that wasn't reality at all. It could be very like crushing for the soul because you're like, oh shit, like especially you've seen it throughout the series. There's I think it's season 3 or maybe season 2, but Mike tells them like, what'd you think? We're just gonna stay here,
Oh yeah, yeah.
play Dungeons and Dragons inside my basement for the rest of our lives, and that's all we're gonna do. And he's like, yeah, that is what I thought. I did think we were gonna do that. Like apparently I was wrong. Like
Yeah.
and it sucks because I mean, you have to grow up, at some point, and it sucks that the reality is that your friends are going to go find lives with other people, and you are going to stop doing those things you used to do when you were kids, and you are going to stop playing on the playground and riding bikes together, and you know playing D&D together, or board games in general. It's just a fact of life, and it's hard
It's a
to
hard
go.
pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I don't want to say it's obvious, but it definitely is trying to make it seem like it's more of like he's wants to be with Mike. But it could also just be that whole friendship thing. That he just wants to be friends with him again, like he did back in the day, and
Yeah, before
that
11.
before 11, and
Yeah.
he knows that that's probably never going to happen again. So it's really hard on him to
Yeah.
face that reality.
I was just hoping that, like, you know what I mean? We would have gotten that sense of, like, him reassuring him. But then when he started speaking, like, oh, this is what 11 was feeling, or this is how 11 should be feeling and everything, it kind of hit me a little bit because he was talking about himself, but through a person, and just made it seem like 11's the one that needs him, not him. But in reality, it was him. But he's seeking that friendship or that love through someone, because he's not getting it from Jonathan. He's not getting it from his brother that he used to be super close with. And
Hmm.
then after the whole him missing, it seemed like that was going downhill because Jonathan had something else come up, or Jonathan
Mhm.
was busy with working all the time, or Jonathan was busy with
Getting
dancing all the
high.
time, getting high all the time. It's like
Yeah.
he didn't get the love that he wanted from his brother, and he's now not getting the love from his friends because he
Hmm.
doesn't have his friends. His friends do call him his other friends, but not the most important one to him was Mike. And
Hmm.
like he was just seeking that love affection, or like that friendship affection that he wanted and was needing, and he never got it until, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see it in season 5 that finally he'll give Mike a high five or a hug. It's just,
You know, I did mention to y'all earlier. Hold on one second.
ooh,
I did mention to y'all earlier that
oh
you
my
know
god.
that Mike, that Will is going to be severely disappointed because there's not going to be any way that he'd actually ever be with Mike at any point because he's going to be with 11. But I seen this pizza today. It's the multi meat pizza, and guess
Oh
who's in
my
the
god.
back right here? I
Oh, like in the
mean,
glasses too.
I mean, Mike
Yes.
Mike might want that multi meat pizza, man.
You don't even know.
You don't know, man.
It's a whole sausage party fest, man.
He might want it, man. He might want it. maybe
But
Will will get his man.
maybe he'll get his
That's the subtle.
manses.
That was the subtle hint right there. They're trying to prep us for the next season.
All right, we love this. They already gave us the whole Vicky. What is it? Robin and what's her name? Is it Kimmy? Whatever.
Oh,
It's not Kimmy.
damn it. Yeah, I forgot her name. Shit.
I think it is Vicky.
Is it
Is it
Vicky? I
Vicky?
think it is.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but we got that little bit of a tease with them. They finally got their talking and everything, and
Yeah, it's Vicky.
okay, yeah, like we got a little tease with them, and then that's why everyone was like, "Oh my god, it is probably Mike and Will and everything." It's just kind of like maybe we don't know, but we're going into the most intense episode leading up to this, which is the
Probably
last
the most
episode.
intense episode I've ever seen.
Yeah, the most intense episode that we've seen for the series in general.
Mhm.
And honestly, it's a gold star in my top episode that I'll probably watch over and over again and not get tired of it. Um
They definitely did a good job of making you feel feelings
yeah.
Oh,
while you were watching it.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
there were
yeah,
just so many scenes, especially around the climax of it, around the middle-ish part,
Yeah.
that like your body is literally like, wow, there's so much happening right now.
yeah. Like I was there.
I feel like Argyle when he's like wild, like just the whole time it just felt like that because there were some things you were expecting, some things you weren't expecting, and some shit they threw you through the loop and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like it was the most intense and best buildup that I've seen into this, and honestly will get my gold star of approval for best episode in a series. Let alone, I'm
That's for
sorry,
sure.
Max, but that running up that hill is going second now because that just topped it because it was really good. We get
Yeah,
them going into battle. We have them all with all their battle gear. Everyone's prepping for war. 11's still trying to figure out what she's gonna do because she doesn't know how they're gonna get back into Hawkins.
Hmm.
Panicking, and then she remembers about jumping through mines,
Through
through
Billy,
memories
her
and stuff.
mom, and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah,
so this is where I want to point out that like
Okay, go ahead.
they did a really good job of like making Argyle an actual useful character and not just a
yeah.
comic relief in this entire series, just from the one scene that they pull up. Because obviously, for 11 to do a mind penetrate or whatever the hell she does, telepathy, for her to do any kind of like telekinesis type of thing, she needs like a bath water with salt and deprivation, kind of like a deprivation tank. And I thought it was really cool that they kind of let Argyle be that guy who just like, what do y'all need? Like about 600 pounds of salt.
Just measuring her like,
Yeah, man, this will totally work, dudes. Like, I know just the place.
come on, brochachos, let's get in the van. I'm like,
I'm
Yeah,
gonna start saying that now.
it was such a great like it was a great scene just because like you have characters like who are pretty much completely useless and the only reason they're there is comedic relief, and it's just like if you would take that character out, yes, you'd have less funny, but it wouldn't change the plot.
Mhm.
This kind of like makes him a vital like person now by having that one good idea to like make him seem like, oh, he's not just some random stoner who's just like always just out there. Like, I mean, he also kind of found the tire tracks too. That
Oh
also
yeah,
the,
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the fatties. He's this ain't regular cars. These are some
These are
fatties,
fatties.
man. I was like, what are you talking about?
But he's able to think outside the box, which definitely makes him a vital character, or made him a vital character during the series. Um, but especially around the ending, you got to see his real um, usefulness, and I thought that was really cool that they let Argyle be a useful character and not just a comic relief the entire time.
Yeah. He was that fresh breath of air, like during the episode when it's so intense. You got him like, okay, trying to talk down the other pizza guy, like, yo, man, we really need,
That was
your
funny. Yeah,
your kitchen. He's up, but I gotta meet this girl at Taco Bell at 10. And then Jonathan comes in with the freaking little joint, like,
yeah.
You got some of that purple pine kush, man.
ooh, and that guy's like, damn, I can't pass that up. And then you get Argyle and them setting up you got Argyle cooking pizza while the rest of them are over here making this whole
It's all
tank.
intense.
And it's absolutely hilarious because I thought he was trying to do something like, make her a pillow to lay on or something. And I'm like, this boy's making fucking pizza while they're over here like slaving away. And
He has a
Like
munchies.
like I said, man, he thinks outside of the box. You're about to go fight a big villain. You can't fight a big villain on an empty stomach, man.
that was
Yeah.
like one
Everyone
of the
else is
lines.
worried about everything else, man.
He was like, you're gonna be fighting some evil. Eat this pizza, 11. I
What
was
was
like,
the what was the exact quote that she said? Like, I need a tub, and then I need a shower or something like that. And he's like, yeah, you need to be clean, man, or some shit like that.
clean. You need to be nice and
When
clean
you're
to get
fighting
your mind
evil.
fight. I was like, everyone's all looking at him like, the fuck is
This
wrong?
guy's gone.
He's gone. But like that was just
Me
like
at
the
2
little
a.m.
symbol of breath of fresh air, like that.
Yeah.
Watching him make the pizza, him bringing it to Levin, like you can't eat on an empty stomach, you can't do this on an empty stomach. And then the whole pineapple on pizza little fight that they have, he's like, don't knock it until you try it, man. Like, it was really nice. And then whenever 11 finally dives into the world of the mind stuff, and he's all, that's wild, looking at the lights. It's just that little bit of like just that little touch was really nice and everything. Um, we get everybody else already getting ready. Like you have everyone going into the upside down. Max, Lucas, and Erica are outside for phase 1 and 2. They're not going to be a part of the whole upside down gang.
Mhm.
The ones that we do have in the upside down is Steve, Robin,
Yeah.
Nancy, Eddie, and Dustin. This is Dustin's first time in the upside down, actually, because he's never been to actually see how it is in the inside, if I'm not mistaken. Because all the rest of them, he was with the Russians, and then whenever they had
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You're
so
right.
this was his first time not being
Hmm.
and experiencing it. So this is his first look and view of it, and they are part of the distraction with
Wait,
Eddie.
are you
What?
saying this is his first deep dive through the upside down?
Yes. I cannot stand you. But yes, this is his first deep dive through the upside down. Like he's never been, he's heard stories, he's heard everybody else talk about it, but never been himself. Yeah, this guy adopted a demodog. Like, come on, man. You know,
We need to
it
get him
is
on the
what it
show.
is. Yeah. But
How much is
they're
hurt?
the distraction while Nancy, Steve, and Robin are on their way to Vecna's house as the same way as Erica, Max, and Lucas are. And this is a scary fight because they're battling on two different sides. Well, three different sides if you include 11 in this. Three different ways, three different chances,
Wow,
and
it's
it
kind of
feels
like
like
Inception.
yeah, it feels like honestly, it feels like fucking Endgame. Like it's like
Oh,
Infinity War. Like you
yep.
had three different chances. This may work out, but only one's gonna work. Whether they win or lose, we don't know if that's going to be it. It's crazy to
Wow,
feel that.
yeah, it was like Infinity because Infinity War you had 3 different battles going on or something like that.
Yeah, they all had three different wares. I was like, man, this is crazy. Some crazy shit's going about to happen. Um,
Can I ask you a question? Do you ever
yeah,
find it annoying in like TV shows when nothing's really planned out, but everything always works out like perfect? Like no one planned that they were going to be in Alaska and the Russians and Russia and all that. And I mean, they planned the other part of it, but
Uh-huh.
like Hopper even said, like, hey, like I don't even think he knew, but somehow he knew that they were fighting over there because he had said, oh no, he knew because of the phone call, right? He knew
yeah,
that they were fighting some kind of evil over there. So he
yeah.
says, like, we're gonna go back to that prison. We're gonna go try to hurt this thing because we know they're a hive mind, and if we hurt it here, then it'll hurt it
Hmm.
there, and maybe give the kids a chance. And it's just like,
How the fuck did you know they were fighting? Like
yeah,
fighting.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
said they said 11 and then went incognito. You don't fucking know if they're there or not.
you
Like
know, the whole pizza van getting at to where 11's at the exact moment that they're about, like none of that was planned, but it just happened that way. I'm not saying it's annoying, but it's always just funny how you know
it's set up.
it's
Like
always
Hmm.
set up, and in my head I'm just like, well, I guess I could just put it to like divine purpose or divine like situations. Like it's always things are gonna happen the way they're gonna happen, and if the universe is in your favor, then everything's gonna work out. And so that's kind of how I saw it. But I don't know. I just wanted y'all's opinion of like what you
honestly, I do get upset about that on some of the movies. This one, it felt like it
Feel
was
the
kind
same
of
way.
like staged like that. Cause like I had this feeling whenever the whole thing with them being underground and then when Brenner was coming out, I was like, these motherfuckers better not be fucking waiting there. Like honk the horn like a little horn like that, like him waiting for them. And I'm like, bro, this better not be like no comedic ending. And then seeing them drive behind and they're like, oh shit, like what are we in for? And Argyle gets out of the van after the whole fucking explosion and shit,
He's
and he's
freaking
all
out.
bodies
Yeah.
everywhere, and I'm just like, if you were here maybe like 5 minutes or like maybe a couple seconds before, that would have been your ass out there. Like it's just it irritated me, but you kind of felt like it was staged in
Hmm.
order for that to happen. But like the Hopper thing really frustrated me a lot because I'm like, how the fuck do you know if they're battling over there? Like we know they are, but how do you know?
But how? Yeah, I feel the exact same way.
I was just like, how are you gonna go jump the line? Like, yeah, we gotta go help the kids. I'm like, how do you know if they're even doing that?
Because I know my kids.
One kid. I'm all one kid, man. But yeah, what about you, Drew? What do you think?
No. I feel the exact same way. Like it's always like you said, like Fuentes on point. So I mean, y'all said it. I mean, I feel the exact same way. So what else are we like talking about in this episode? Where
We're
we at
getting
in this
into
episode?
that intense scene, so I'm just gonna blurt it out and say it. We were all wrong on the song that Eddie fucking did.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did Master of Puppets from Metallica.
Yeah.
I was sitting here like my daughter next to me, both of my kids next to me, and I was just like, they fucking did it. Like I was just so happy to hear at least I was either thinking Iron Maiden, if it wasn't Iron Maiden, I was really thinking Metallica, but I was like, what song are they gonna do? Like you can't just do Entered Sandman, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just there's different we could have, but this one was just the best thing and they picked the best piece to use.
Mhm.
And then like Dustin giving the countdown, like you got 30 seconds. He's like, bitch, I still gotta get through the solo. I can't even do that. Like
All right, solo time.
and like it just kind of worked because of the way that it was. And then it's that whole intense battle scene getting you prepped and ready. At this moment, I really thought it was going to be Dustin and Eddie dying because they were the bait, they were the decoy. I really thought that. I was like, oh no, not my baby boy Dustin, not the pretty hair, like not him. I wasn't ready for it, and it didn't happen. Like they escaped like with the skin of their teeth. I was like, oh shit. And then when they open up the door, Nancy, Robin, and Steve um, open up the door and just like the vines everywhere. I was like, oh, fuck, dude, they're going to die here. And I'm not prepared for that either. Like losing them three, no, I'm not ready for that. And then Max getting trapped into her mind and like the way that this one was a little bit different because she had to egg him on in order for him to attack her, which was kind of weird because I really want to know if that was what she was really thinking. Like that was already built up in her mind the whole time, or
Mhm.
was that just to play off?
Just yeah. How she felt about Billy and all that.
Yeah,
Right?
I'd wanted to
Yeah.
know if that was really her true emotion because like I was like, God
That's a
damn.
good question.
I'm sure it was, except for the whole wanting Vecna to kill her.
Yeah, like
I
up
don't know.
to
Maybe
that
she did.
point.
Maybe she did want Vecna to kill her. I don't know. But you know, it's like everything you've seen up through the series, you could tell that she was going through something. You know, obviously.
Yeah.
So maybe she did want to die, and maybe she did want someone to hurt her. But now her friends were depending on her to go through with this plan and distract them and survive and what's the word? Bide time, I guess, is the best way. Like they were wanting her to run around, escape, and she pretty much was like, "Well, if I die, I die." Like I don't think she really cared at that point. But
Yeah.
she stayed alive for her friends. She didn't stay alive for herself. I don't think, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what she said was true. At least I think how the character was. I think that she really did believe everything she said, and that was real emotions that I think a lot of people kind of steer clear from, I guess is the best way to say that. You know, a lot of us aren't true with ourselves sometimes, and sometimes we do have bad thoughts that we try to push away and accept. But, you know, I think I heard a quote one time. It was just like, I'd rather, sometimes you got to accept all the darkness of yourself to realize that you're capable of all these things and then learn that you have to control them.
Yeah.
Don't try to push them back and act like they don't exist, because then that's when they come out randomly and then you can't control it. Learn that you're a dark person and then learn how to push that back to control yourself from doing bad things.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, yeah, that's powerful.
And it freaked me out too because in this episode we saw like a change in the way that Vecna was going to kill, because the way that we normally see it is him transitioning from the person that he's impersonating to himself very quickly. On
Mhm.
here, you heard the double voice of him talking over Lucas, and like the eye color change on Lucas wasn't the normal way that Vecna really is. Like it just felt like we were stuck in that time. Like we thought Lucas was really gonna fuck this plan up. We thought that he really was feeling some type of way because of the way that it was. And I was like, holy shit, he's really gonna mess this up. Like, and then it's her like, why are you saying all of this stuff? And I was like, no, Lucas wouldn't have jumped like that
Yeah,
quickly on him. And I was like, holy shit, she got caught. Like she got by
that got
Vecna.
me good. I thought like Lucas was like, "Oh, dude, no, not right now, bro. Like, just stop." And then, yeah, that got me good. I was like freaking out.
I was. It got me for like the first like 2 sentences, and then I think by like the 3rd sentence, I was like, "Oh shit, okay, she's in there.
Yeah.
It's happening." I was like, oh, "Okay, all right, let's get
I-
this ball rolling."
I do want to go over a little thing though. The cute moment before all of this was whenever Lucas and her were like
Oh,
talking,
the
but not
notepad.
really talking. The little notepad, they're like
Yeah,
hi, and like the cute little hi with the smiley face and everything. And she was just like very happy that he was there with her, and that you know what they plan on doing later, or like, you know, after all of this stuff is done and over with. And
movie setting.
she comes up with this little drawing of both of them, him with the popcorn in his hand. They're at the movies and I'm there bawling like a
Oh
fucking
yeah.
baby. And I'm just like, man, I hope they get out of this so they can have their cute little movie moment and everything. And I'm still crying about it because every time I see it, I see the meme about it. They're like, "Oh, why are you crying over some stupid photo, stupid picture?" And the picture is that, and I'm just like crying. But nonetheless, she's finally caught by Vecna. She's running away from Vecna. We get her to the snowball dance, just sitting and waiting because she finally figured out that if she flashes a good memory to go to, she can jump to that memory. And
Mhm.
that helped her in this instance. 11's trying to find which memory she's at, and then she notices in her memory that 11 is located at, something's out of place. And then we get that notorious little scene where we see the little table and then the pan to the bridge where 11 is on, and then the whole lightning in the sky, it's dark
Mhm.
cloud.
Mhm.
11 finally finds where she's at in enough time because Max is getting closer to dying from Vecna in this scene. And we see Vecna almost kill Max, but 11's there. 11 comes in like, "You wanted me? I'm here. Let's go at it, bitch." Like, ready for it. But it wasn't what I was expecting at the beginning of this. Like, I really thought that, like, damn, took him down really easily. And I was like, man, that was too easy. Like that wasn't gonna end right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I felt the exact same way. 'Cause I was like, wait, nah, like, come on. You can't just. That was kind of cheesy. Like, not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Honestly, and then I heard like the moans and groans of him like getting up. I was like, damn, dude, that sounds like me when I'm getting up in the morning. I hear my knees pop. Like that's what I was like, damn, dude. Like she got him
Me this
good,
morning.
but like, damn. And then the whole little speech, him throwing around like a rag doll, and then we go back to the rest of the crew. Um, we got Eddie and Dustin in the trailer. The bats are they barricaded the house very well. They didn't think about vents in
Hmm.
this whole fucking house. They didn't think about the vents. So bats are trying to come in through the vents. They're over here trying to get the bats out.
I
They're
do want
running. Oh,
did
go
want
ahead.
to talk about one more thing. I think it's. I don't want to say it's powerful, but it's obviously something that was on his mind a lot of the, I guess, series or from when it happened. But before he started playing, he said, "Chrissy, this is for you." You know,
Oh, yeah.
and
Guys,
it really showed that, like,
he cared.
you know, he one, like, he cared about her, but like two, like, I don't want to say like
accept his fate? You think?
I think it's like, to me, what I think was getting me was that, well, one, you could tell that he had real feelings for this girl. I think, and they kind of talked about a little bit in that scene where they were together,
That
like, yeah,
chemistry.
we used to be in school together, but you probably don't remember me. Like, I remember you. We used to like play, or I used to see you, blah blah blah. So he probably might have had a crush on Christy like his whole life, Chrissy, his whole life, and
Yeah.
he finally felt like he was maybe getting in that, finally getting in that circle, and they had their little moment, and that was probably the girl that he still had in his mind, whenever he was doing all this dangerous stuff, like, hey, you, because a lot of the series to building up, he kind of admitted a lot that he was a coward. He was like, all I do is run. Like, these girls over here have basically more balls than I do. Like, you know, um, and even that scene where he's like, go out there and be the hero, Harrington, because that's your
That's
role.
your thing. Yeah.
You're the hero. Like, we're not heroes. We're just the guys. We're just a distraction.
We're just the
The decoys.
distraction and
Yeah, we're the
bumps.
decoys. So he's already kind of like in his head built himself up to not be like anything special in his life,
Nothing important. Yeah.
and just him saying like this is for you, like it could show it started showing like a little glimpse of like, I don't want to say him becoming a man, but him getting out of that fearful state of like he's not gonna be a hero. Like, you could see like he cared about other people, because to me, in any anime or anything you watch, like it's always the people you care about that give the people the strength to do the hard shit, and that was something obviously really hard. Like, why would Eddie be putting himself at risk if it wasn't for someone else? And I guess that was his testimony to, I'm doing this not because of all these guys that I care about, and I do care about Dustin, I do care about the guys that I'm going to war with, but I'm also doing it for the girl who didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
And it was very, I don't know, it was very touching, sweet little. It was only one line, and then he got straight to being a badass, playing the guitar. But it was really cool, and it really got me. I was like, oh shit, okay.
That was honestly really touching a little bit. And then like the little moment like with Nancy and Steve when they're walking over to Vecna's too, where he was telling Nancy about his dream that he had in the Winnebago, that he had like 6 kids or whatever, and he left the best part out of it, and it was Nancy that he had all these kids with, and that they lived this whole happy life. And like he was just kind of like, that was Steve growing up and telling her his true feelings and how he felt still about her, and like and then him knowing like it's not gonna happen. He just wants someone else. What if someone else like her gave him that same knock of sense that she did? Would it have been different? Maybe wouldn't have known him as the Steve Harrington that he's at. Or I keep on doing that. Did I get his last name right?
Harrington.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, did I get it wrong? It's Henderson is Dustin. I was like, man, did I butcher this? But we wouldn't have known Steve the way that he was at all. Maybe he would have died in season 1 if Nancy would have never knocked some sense into him. But look at where he's at now. He's grown up so much. That's why his death was like kind of like scaring me, because I didn't want him to die, because he's grown in the whole season. But nonetheless, we get into this intense thing. We have everyone trying to get their battles going. We have the crew in Russia trying to defeat Demogorgons and Demodogs. We have the chance that Hopper may die because he's the bait or the decoy to get them back into the prison. Maury has a flamethrower. Gave that man that flamethrower. We have 11 fighting Vecna.
And then Steve, Nancy, and Robin
All chained
wrapped up to a wall.
And then Lucas is fighting off Jason, because Jason somehow pops up, tells him to get her out of that trance, and he's all, no, I can't, because if we bring her back too soon, we're fucked. Yeah. And then they go into a whole sprawl, because I'm gonna start off with this. They go into a whole sprawl. They're fighting. I'm like, Lucas is getting the upper hand, and Jason steps on the tape thing and breaks it. it pissed me off in the inside because I'm like, that just sealed Max's fate.
Yeah.
I know that maybe Max might die because we don't have anything to save her. Erica's getting held up by one of his guys, and the guy's like, I'll break your arm if you squirm around a lot. And I'm like, oh no, you don't mess with Erica.
Mm-mm.
Lucas is beating the shit out of Jason. Jason's beating him up, and then finally Jason has the upper hand and starts choking him out, almost killing him. I'm scared because we might lose Lucas in this. Then we have 11 trying to fight off Vecna. Vecna gets her into a hold, pulls her to his lair, and tells her the notorious line that your friends have lost this battle. You have lost this battle. And
Before we go any further,
go.
one of the between all that was happening, so the bats are trying to get through the house through the vents, like you were saying earlier, and they finally do. And Eddie decides the best way to try to save Dustin is for him to be a decoy and have the bat start chasing him. So he starts, running, or he starts getting on his bike and running away so the bats can chase him. And I think it was another, kind of similar to the whole Christy, this is for you moment. Another similar revelation for him that again he's running away, and he decided that for some reason at that point in his life that he thought it was going to be a great idea to finally stop running away and stand his ground against thousands of demi bats.
These damn demi bats.
And so you get this epic scene of, you know, Eddie holding back a lot of the bats that are attacking him and fighting them head on,
Oh,
and not running away. And yes, finally succumbing to his purpose. And, to me, that scene was really powerful. A big test to anyone's character is when they face their fears, especially if it's could cause death. And sometimes you got to stand for what you believe in, even if it's death.
seeking the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just something super powerful, because that's something I think all of us try to do, but it's something I try to do with my own life. Is like I try to
Mhm.
stand as much as I can to my own beliefs, no matter how much the world around me doesn't believe in those types of things or believe in those beliefs, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
And so it was really powerful. And seeing that, kind of like, I didn't tear up, but it definitely like brought a lot of emotion. I was like, damn, this guy's about to, that's it, he just sealed his own fate, but he accepted it and he's fine with it. At that
Yeah.
point he was okay with whatever outcome was going to happen,
Yeah.
as long as he got to save his friend Dustin, and you know and not run away anymore. And so I thought that was really powerful. So while everything else that Tiff was just explaining was happening, um, Eddie was getting attacked by bats.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
swarmed.
yeah.
He was swarmed by so many of them, like a whole circle, like a cyclone of them, and he's just in the middle. Dustin's panicking because he's trying to figure out how the fuck am I gonna get back in there,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
and he sprains his knee on the way down, getting back in, well, going up, down
Going up,
into the
yeah,
upside, yeah,
yeah.
into it, and he sprains his knee, so he's limping trying to get to Eddie. And this is the most intense scene because you hear him, the way that his reaction is, it still gives me chills right now, is Eddie, Eddie, where are you, Eddie? Like, he's running to him. And I was expecting the reaction like this to Steve, but
Mhm.
the way, I guess, that um Dustin and him had that bonding moment the episode before kind of showed that he really looked up to Eddie because of how he was and how he was different. And he just wished
Mhm.
that uh going later into that episode when he's explaining, everything, that he wished that he would have spent a lot more time with him, knowing, getting to know him a little bit more. But while all of that is going on, 11 is getting held back to watch everyone die. And the first one Vecna's starting with
Whew.
is Max right in front of her. And Max and her have a very, very, I would say, pivotal role because their friendship started in season 2. season 2, season 3, and like kind of
Yeah.
progressed. Yeah, season 2 because they progressed into that friendship that they had in season 3,
Three,
and
yeah.
then now to what it was now, like to this day, and she felt some kind of emotional attachment to her because she's the only other girl that would talk to her, hang out with her, and felt friends with. And while she felt like she was at a loss, Mike was trying to give her that pep talk, and Will's there next to Mike. You're the heart of this clan, or you're the heart of this group of friends. You need to keep on talking to her. You need to keep telling her what needs to be said. And Mike was like, I love you. I've loved you since the first day I saw you in that yellow big shirt that swallowed you whole. And that moment I was just like, damn, dude, like I was crying like a baby because I was like, man, she's gonna die. Max is gonna die right in front of her. And everything that Mike was saying, a bone was breaking on Max. And it was just like,
Oh my god.
Yeah,
it just,
it was so hard. I was just like, oh my god, they're gonna do it. They're
Yeah.
gonna really
like,
do
I
it.
was hyperventilating, crying already at this point because I knew maybe it was going to happen. And my daughter's next to me, you okay? Are you crying too? I was like, yeah, I'm crying. The little one's all knocked out while all of this is going on. Like, it was just intense to see because we knew if Max died, this gate's gonna open. Like this
Mhm.
is gonna be just horrible from what Nancy said. So every bone that was breaking was a minute lost for the whole crew. And then the bats trying to go after Eddie. The vines getting tighter on the crew that's stuck in the house. And then finally 11 snaps by the last bone that Max breaks and helps save her and was beating up the fucking Vecna, and Max is released at the time. We don't know that anything else is wrong with her. We just get Max is released. Um Everybody else is starting to get released from
They're
their
fighting
hold.
back and
They're
yeah, yeah,
fighting
yeah.
back and they're winning a little bit of
I was gonna
winning.
say, so I wanted to talk about this, but maybe since I think it's Hopper's one of your favorite characters, did you want to explain the Hopper fighting the Demogorgon scene?
Bro, I was crying. Like I thought he was gonna die like Bob went out, bro. Like I was like, dude, the demagogue's gonna get him. But Maury came, helped with the whole fire thing. I don't know how the fuck they got a sword in there, but there was a sword there. And
I
this
was like, where
whole
the fuck did that come from?
massive battle, like honestly I felt like it was a nod to kind of like the He-Man, the dethroning, vicious monster
Mm.
type thing. And like him taking out this Demogorgon was like the best scene that I've seen, because it just had this whole intense thing going on, and decapitates this
It's fucking
motherfucking Demogorgon like it was nothing. He took off one arm first. The
yeah.
Demogorgon's trying to go at him with the other arm, and Hopper's like, not fucking today, bro, and just takes him out with the sword. The head fucking slides, and I swear, Funko Pop don't make this into a movie scene pop, I'ma cry. Cause like that
Yep.
was just the best moment, like movie moment that would have been him with the sword and then the Demogorgon's like head right there on the side.
It was it was really crazy, and then all this is happening while Kate Bush is running up that hill, is playing in the background.
The intense version of it now, like
Um, I like that scene a lot because it was definitely a nod to the storytelling of the knight versus the dragon, basically.
Mhm.
And that, I mean, up to the point where it had like almost a medieval sword to fight the dragon, and
Yeah.
it was a really cool scene because like um I don't know. I guess as a guy, you kind of I've always had an idea that I would be a big hero one day. So seeing scenes like that, it's like really cool. Like if I was stuck in that situation where I had to be the hero, like could I do it? And like it's always cool to see like scenes like that because he could have easily just try to run away or try to do something, but he decided at that point that it was like, well, if we run away, we might die, and Joyce might die. You know, I have to try to fight this dragon right now, or else we all die,
Mhm.
and he did, and it was
No one
such
else
a
is really gonna do it. So
yeah, exactly. Like no one else is gonna do it. Like it was
also too, Nancy was like a badass, which her like walking up to Vecna with the shotgun. Not gonna lie, I was like, this is kind of hot. Not gonna lie.
no, it was
Bro.
it was a really cool scene. They all kind of Nancy definitely got the most, I think, exposure, but everyone kind of got their moment of lighting the bottles and throwing them at Vecna, and that was a very intense scene as well because you're just like, dang, this guy like took already like 4 shots to the chest, and he's just like, I'm still gonna keep walking towards you. It's like, oh man.
Also, like not to. I mean, it was all emotions the whole episode, but like the part that I think really got me was when Max, or Lucas caught Max, and Max was like, "I'm not ready to die. I'm not ready." I'm just like, oh, that kind of fucked me up. It really did.
Her words were, I can't feel anything. I can't
Mhm.
see anything, and I'm not ready to die. And Lucas is like,
Yeah.
Erica, go get the ambulance. Like that,
Yeah.
like I got chills just right now talking about it.
Yeah.
It gave
Yeah.
me that kind of chill factor because like I'm sitting there like bawling, and I'm like, dude, I don't want her to die. It's not Max's time. Like she can't die. She can't. And then I think it goes pans into what happened with Eddie and everything, and Eddie and Dustin. Eddie's just sitting there with all the bat bites, and his line was, I didn't run away, right? And I was like, oh, I cried hard with that. And then the Max scene on top of that, it just made it intense. Oh, Max. Okay. The whole death with Max and stuff. But yeah, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty.
But yeah, so going back before the death of Max, yeah, that heartfelt scene with Dustin and Eddie while he was dying. Again, he reiterates to Dustin like that he needs to be, which we kind of talked about in the theories on the last one, is that if Steve were to die or anyone else were to die, that the next person to take the mantle would probably have to be Dustin. Mm-hmm. And he kind of like gave us that hint that Dustin may be the next protector by telling him like, you need to be that guy. You need to be the guy to keep everyone, safe, basically. Don't change and like be the guy. And I was just like, damn, it's gonna happen. He's gonna be the guy.
Yeah.
He's gonna come back. Oh,
he's gonna be all buff like Steve and everything. Like, man. But we get Eddie's death. Eddie's death hits home. Max's death was kind of like, we didn't know if it was going to happen or not, but we get to see it in 2 different angles. We see it in the angle with Lucas, and we see it in the angle with 11.
Yeah.
We get to see her still stuck in her mind because she's panicking that she's not going to make it, and she doesn't. From what we know now, was over a minute. She doesn't make it. 11 does something to bring her back after that minute is up.
Wild.
Because I didn't know how. It's like a little spark or whatever she did in order to restart her heart. Don't know how, but she did it. And
I almost got kind of pissed off at that scene. I was like, oh, now she can bring people back from the dead.
Exactly.
Do everything.
I was like, what about Barb? What about Bob? What about Alexi?
That's exactly how I felt. I mean, I wasn't thinking of, obviously them. I just thought of wait, so this girl can just bring back anybody alive? Like, no. Like, when the fuck did that happen?
She could have brought back Hopper, and we would have.
Which, I mean, it's like similar to. Man, what did I watch recently? I think it was it's just any kind of like thing. Like she probably just use their mind powers to like pump her heart to like kind of give it a jolt.
Yeah.
To come back alive, just like you would do with
Matrix.
Whatever that heart thing is. What's it called? The thing that defibrillator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Same concept, I'm sure.
It's kind of like it's kind of a reference to the Matrix because didn't Neo like save Trinity? Like he put his hand in her heart and started like squeezing it or some shit like that. Yeah.
And then he like.
The Duffer Brothers are definitely a fan of the Matrix.
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
fans of the Matrix.
So we get that little minute that does happen. We get the portals that crack all the way
Mhm.
through Hawkins. And we get
Mhm.
to see one of our favorite deaths of the season. We get to see Jason get cut in fucking half by that fucking portal. My guy, I saw it happen and he's like, oh, and I was like, that's what I needed.
I I didn't see it at first because it happened so quick.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wait. So I like, double tap. I was like, oh hell yeah! I paused it. I'm like, fuck yeah, you fucker, die.
That's what you get for beating up Lucas. That's what you get for picking on Erica. That's
For
what
fucking
you
up
get.
everything, basically.
Fucking it
So
all up, man.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
we get everything that happens. We get the portal that opens. I guess the portal doesn't fully open all the way through because
mhm.
that minute after that minute, Max is back alive again where her heart started and everything. And that's when it stops. And then we get the whole 2 days later on the fucking screen. And I'm over here pissed, like, what the fuck? Like,
So
so mad.
do y'all think that happened because they ran out of money?
Maybe. I think so. They were over the cap on the budget and they're like, they wouldn't mind like a little SpongeBob thing put on
Or
there.
I had two theories. One, they ran out of budget and they're like, well, we still need to end the episode. And so basically, we got all this budget to end the episode, and this is the budget for the climax. And, we basically spent that entire budget for the climax. So they're like, all right, we have to do a time skip. Like maybe they already decided that. But
Yeah.
also, like at that point, the climax is pretty much done. Like everything was already
It was
done. Vecna had disappeared. I mean, I thought a possibility of Vecna kind of coming back for a round two, like right then and there, because he kind of like escaped for a second, and then kind of like she was gonna come back randomly, like really fast. But that didn't happen.
like in
Obviously,
horror movies when the monster is down and we think the house will
exactly.
freak out, comes right back real quickly for like the last kill. That's what I was expecting.
Yep.
And then when he was gone, I was thinking, ooh, they really are nodding to the boogeyman because like at the ending of Halloween, the original Halloween, he's gone and they
Yeah.
don't know what happened to him until the next, movie. And I'm just like, God damn it, man. Y'all guys are nodding so much stuff in here. I was so mad. I was like, oh, just over it. But I,
I forgot what I was trying to explain, but
uh,
I think it was just that to me it was just like, well, they could spend a bunch more money saying how Hopper, Joyce, and Murray and all them got back. They can spend a bunch of money and time on them getting out of the houses and going back through the portals, or we could just do 2 days ahead and kind of explain it into that part of the story and save some money and time too, because explaining all that would have been another 30 minutes. This would have been a 3-hour movie.
yeah.
Like it was already 2.5 hours, man. Like
Another touching scene was when Dustin was talking to Eddie's uncle.
Oh
yeah,
Oh my
man,
god, that was
I cried
another.
even more.
I was like, yo, like fuck this show, man.
that was the
Man.
only that was the only
Oh,
that was the scene I was talking about earlier that made me the
yeah.
only one that made me shed tears. Like I actually cried like watching that. It was just shitty. Like I guess I was getting in the shoes of the uncle. Like everyone was calling him basically a monster. Even the media was saying that Hellfire was a satanic cult led by Eddie. And he walks up to the thing, and everyone put the satanic symbol on his face with horns and all that.
Just takes
And
it off, puts another poster on there.
and he believed in the goodness in him so much, and just to have someone come validate it, was so powerful to me, and it hit me really hard. I was just like, damn, like it had to suck to have maybe an inkling of a doubt that maybe your nephew was an evil person and not the person you thought he was, and then just to have someone come validate that no, he died a hero, he died saving us all, like he was a real hero. It really hit home.
In the
Yeah.
words of what Dustin said, is that he died saving a town that hated him.
Mhm.
That's like was like the nail on the coffin because honestly, he really did. He didn't run away. He was trying to help save what Hawkins is, and then the moment when he gives him like the guitar pick and was like, "I'm so sorry," I was just like, "Fuck!" Like I thought it was just gonna be like a hit or miss. Like, hey, he's still alive. Like he's just in a, he just in a coma because of all the bloody loss. But no, we didn't get that fucking happy ending like that. We got Max still alive.
Mhm.
She's stuck in a
Maybe.
coma, maybe, but
Her
she's
body is still alive.
her
Yeah.
heart's still there pumping, but the brain is not. Like you could tell that she's pretty much going to be a vegetable for now. They said maybe she may wake up, maybe not. We don't know. The moment that Max does die, will the gates fully open? Like, do we know what's going to
That's
happen?
right. That's
Like,
right.
that's why I'm scared that if the moment she tips, like, Hawkins is done. Like that, she
Mhm.
was the one that was gonna break the gate open from all four,
Well,
whatever it is.
I mean, if we're going to be getting to the ending, from the way that I could tell, it's almost like the Harry Potter kind of theory thing, where he had to die to kill Voldemort.
Oh
So
yeah,
his death still mattered, even though he came back alive. He did die once, so that took away the Horcrux curse part, and then now he's alive again. So since she did technically die, that's all that we needed to finish the thing. That even though she got brought back to life, quotation
yeah,
marks or whatever you want to call it, um, the spell still happened. Everything still happened the way it needed to. Because when you get to the very end, you see all the cracks and all red.
Yeah.
So obviously
yeah,
something happened. Something's open. Some kind of great evil is coming. You know, which I
yeah.
thought was really cool too. Like not really cool, but I kind of had this feeling since Vecna was introduced, but that he was the creator of everything, even the Mind Flayer. I actually thought it was the opposite. I didn't think Vecna was the 5-star general of the Mind Flayer. I thought that Vecna was the mastermind the whole time, but there was no way for me to really prove that. But you learn that it was Vecna who pretty much had planned everything and is controlling the Mind Flayer. And I was
Mhm.
like, wow, so it really was him the whole time. But, there's also something else that I noticed when I was watching it. You notice how, like, when he's telling his story about being in the Upside Down, that everything is just kind of plain and just like a rocky area and stuff like that. Like, nothing's like how we see the Upside Down, really.
Mhm.
Like, maybe somehow he created the opposite illusion of the world in the Upside Down, because all the
Interesting.
vines are connected to him. So, like, he made the Upside Down him in a sense or some way. I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it further in the next one, but it really looks like the Upside Down didn't look like how it looks now, and
Yeah,
For
it didn't even
sure.
really have the dark look like it
No, I
normal
didn't.
like it has.
Yeah.
And then he found the Mind Flayer, and then it seemed like he built everything from there. And I was just like, huh, that's very interesting. But maybe he had enough power to create the whole Upside Down himself.
yeah.
Like he created the world. That's insane.
But I'm just glad that the whole gang is back together. All of them, literally all of them. Hopper, Joyce, the boys, Jonathan, Nancy, Steve. Steve, that
Yeah. Steve's
motherfucker's
alive.
still alive. The hair is still there. The pops will not go up in value. Fuck, but that Eddie Pop will. But
My boy in his hair.
I'm
The
just
ending of season
glad.
5 better end with either Max going on the date with Lucas, or you get a little I guess future part where shows Harrington and maybe Nancy with his 6 kids in a RV.
They
If it
did.
don't
They
end
did.
like that, I'm
That'd be
I'm a
cool.
cry.
They did hint that, like, obviously him and or Jonathan and Nancy are gonna have problems in the future because Jonathan's
Like they're
still
gonna
lying.
break.
Yeah.
Jonathan's still lying about his college application, and Nancy wasn't willing to tell him that it's over. Basically, like, oh no, we're still good. Like everything's
Yeah.
great.
Like she's
Um,
not gonna tell Jonathan straight out, I still have feelings for Steve. Like she does. You could tell. But like,
well, you can tell she's fighting him too. Like she
yeah.
doesn't. She wants to be a faithful person. She
Mhm.
wants to still be with well, maybe not still be with Jonathan, but wants to do it proper. So
Yeah. Damn
I
Wheeler.
think she felt, because with me, I had not a big problem with Nancy. Obviously, I like Steve a lot, but most of what I talk about is a joke. To be honest, like I do like Steve, I do like what he stands for, but I really didn't like how Nancy basically just like ran off with Jonathan and like cheated on him, basically, like, and
Oh yeah.
didn't really end it properly with Steve. Just kind of went on, but Steve accepted it and was just like, maybe I messed up somewhere, and so if you had to run away, then I guess that's my fault. I should have done something more to keep you in my life. And, that's like something really big for him. But for me, it still made Nancy look like a bad person. Like
Yeah.
she didn't do the right thing. She went off and just basically was like, I'm going to go like this guy. And then even to the point where they're like, well, I waited for you for a month or whatever. And then, oh, so you waited for him for a month. And because he didn't come, you just went back to Steve. And then you broke up with Steve when he was finally ready to be with you again. Like, you're just a piece of shit. I'm sorry. Like,
You're not
but,
wrong.
Yeah.
but you could tell she grew up too. We're all kids. We all done
Stupid
dumb
shit.
things when we were kids. Weren't thinking right. We were full of emotions, and we don't really know exactly, how to feel or what to do. So now I've kind of more see Nancy's adult side. She's growing up, and maybe she does want to do everything right now, and maybe she needs to end it properly with Jonathan, and maybe it's just not the time yet. Maybe it's going to give us that ending that we just talked about, where they're going to be with Jonathan, be with Steve in the end, and they're going to be with their 6 nuggets, and they're going to be in the Winnebago. Maybe they're setting us up for the
They're gonna
for
give
the,
us the whole
for
fucking
the ending.
Grease ending where they're flying off into the clouds and stuff. Man, I don't know. But anyways, getting into this last part before we end this, I give full permission to Will to be the villain next season because he didn't know who was controlling him this whole time until they finally put the name to the face, and Will realized it was Vecna the whole time. Him and Vecna both drawing the same shit. Him and Vecna having the same fucking D&D characters. Him and Vecna are just one. Like, they are one. He
Mhm.
can't get rid of him. He sensed what was going to happen. Like, he sensed everything.
I think it's going to be actually the opposite. I think Will's going to play a really big role in taking down Vecna because they're so similar. Like, kind of, I coincidentally brought it up, but kind of like a Baltimore and Harry Potter type
Yeah.
of deal. One
Yeah,
has
yeah,
to,
yeah.
one can't live without the other type of deal, or one is going to have to defeat the other. Like, they
He
have to be
knows
the
Vecna's
ones.
weaknesses, all that shit. So yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
he might use it as an advantage to know where he's
Hmm.
at.
Yeah.
Because he still has a piece of him attached to him.
I think he's going to finally shave the bull hair.
Oh, please,
And
dude.
all of a sudden, he's going to be a badass. Like,
Walk
That's all
in.
it was, bro.
It was the bull haircut holding him back.
yeah, exactly. It was holding in all his powers. He takes it off, and all his powers come out.
So, getting down to the last of this. So, your favorite scene through the series of season 4, what would it be?
Shit.
Favorite scene?
Mine was the Hopper and Demogorgon battle. It was such an epic scene. Just, I mean, all of it was epic. That whole, because it was multiple battles kind of going on at one time. But
Mhm.
that specific one was the one where when I was watching it, I literally had the thought in my head like, this is a freaking movie, like a freaking theater, like high budget blockbuster movie happening right now in my face. Like,
Yeah.
it's like they did such an amazing job, and just like that scene specifically, it gave me like goosebumps just watching it. I was just like, damn, like he's gonna go against the Demogorgon. Like, why didn't he do this shit earlier?
Yeah.
He was fighting the Demogorgon.
He didn't give him a sword, that's why.
I mean, he was obviously, the Demogorgon was badly hurt, but still,
Yeah.
like it's. I was just like, it was just a really cool scene. It was probably my favorite scene of the entire thing.
Entire series, right?
Probably the entire
Yeah.
series. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
entire series.
I mean, obviously, runner up is Eddie playing guitar in the Upside Down.
Probably. I mean, I always give me goosebumps when I watch it. Is Running Up the Hill, Max. that scene was so perfect. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it's better than any other scene. It's just every time I watch that scene, I always get goosebumps. So that's probably my favorite scene. Happy moment, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because
But
she was saved.
yeah. That has to be it. So,
My favorite scene out of the series is honestly like it's like really torn in between two, honestly. Like it's just the whole damn. I would have to say the whole guitar thing. Like that setup was just perfect. Like
mhm.
going into the whole battle, like it was their battle cry basically. And Eddie fucking shredding the way that he did, my spot on. Giving Metallica 1 million plays right now for just that one song, like they did for Running Up That Hill
One
by
at the
Kate
hill.
Bush.
Yeah.
Like everyone's going to go listen to Metallica now. Everyone's going to own a Metallica shirt and say, "Oh yeah, I've listened to that band. Name 5 songs off of that album." Master of Puppets? Okay. Shit.
In-
like,
Inner
but
Sandman.
Enter Sandman? God damn it. Question mark. But, it's just them. Like, I feel like that scene was really properly well done. And I give them props because, shit, it was intense. Intense going into that. Um, we give a moment of silence for the ones that were lost, the 22 people that were lost in Hawkins, and Mr. Eddie Munson. So the little. All right, guys. So this is um this was an intense episode to go through. Like we didn't go through fully everything. I know we missed a couple of things, but we'll do that in another episode recap. But we wanted to get our full true emotion on this episode because it was a whirlwind with Netflix lying about midnight all the way up until everybody else watching those memes and laughing about what's going on. But I feel like they did a perfect job setting up for season 5, and I can't wait to see what they do. All right, I'll see y'all guys in 2025 for that new season.
I think I did see 2020, like late 2023.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. So unless that's, I mean, we'll see if that happens. But
They're going to just be like, oh, 2023, psych, 2026, y'all. Cries.
I'm pissed. I'm gonna be
It'll
pissed
be
if
like
that shit
30,
happens.
30-year-old kids still in high school.
They're going to be like Eddie Munson with being there 2 years, 2
They're
years
gonna have
before
to
he
double their
graduated.
budget because of the CGI if they wait so long. Like seriously.
For
I did
real.
read an article that said that it's gonna come a lot sooner. I mean, the only reason, obviously, because all this happened was because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I mean, everything's
sure.
getting back to normal. So I don't think we're gonna wait even 2 years, in my opinion. But from what I've read too, but who knows? Who knows?
So I'll leave the fans with this last question. Does pineapple belong on pizza? And are you willing to try it if Mr. Argyle is telling you, don't knock it until you try it? But alrighty, guys, that is it for this episode. And we will catch y'all guys in the next one. Enjoy your pineapple on pizza. Bye.